Welcome back to PMP Exam Express. I am Mark. I will be taking you through 10 questions focusing on process domain. This will be the first 10 questions of 50. We have work to do. Let us begin. Question 1. Sophie, the project manager, is halfway through a software implementation project when she discovers that key stakeholders were not involved during scope planning. Now, several stakeholders are requesting additional features that were not part of the original scope baseline. What should Sophie do first? A. Begin work on the new features to maintain stakeholder satisfaction. B. Re-baseline the project scope and update all plans. C. Refer to the scope management plan and initiate the formal change control process. D. Inform stakeholders that it's too late to add new features. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Sophie must first refer to the scope management plan and follow the integrated change control process. This ensures transparency, traceability, and proper evaluation of change impacts before updates are made. Bypassing the process risks uncontrolled scope creep. Question 2. Jason is leading an agile project. During the second week of a 2-week sprint, the customer urgently requests a new feature. The development team feels confident they can squeeze it into the current sprint. What should Jason do? A. Approve the request and add it to the sprint backlog. B. End the sprint early and begin a new sprint with the new scope. C. Document the request and consider it for the next sprint during backlog refinement. D. Ask the product owner to immediately reprioritize the sprint backlog. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Changes mid-sprint disrupt team focus and velocity. Jason should log the change and defer it to the next sprint, allowing time for proper prioritization and impact analysis. Agile promotes adaptability, but also protects sprint boundaries. Question 3. Amira, the project manager, is reviewing her risk register and notices that a previously identified high-probability risk is now likely to occur. A contingency plan was defined during planning. What should Amira do next? A. Reassess the risk for changes in impact. B. Implement the pre-planned contingency response. C. Notify senior management about the risk. D. Update the issue log and close the risk. Correct answer, B. Explanation. If a contingency response was already planned and a trigger condition is met, it's time to implement it. Waiting or escalating first would delay resolution and could cause damage. Question 4. Maria, a project sponsor, asks Alex, the project manager, when specific deliverables will be ready for client review. Alex wants to give the most accurate, approved timeline. What should Alex consult? A. Work breakdown structure, WBS. B. Gantt chart. C. Schedule baseline. D. Deliverables register. Correct answer, C. Explanation. The schedule baseline is the formal, approved timeline for deliverables and activities. The Gantt chart is a visual tool, but not the baseline, and the WBS does not include timing. Question 5. Rachel, the project manager for a bridge construction project, is in the monitoring controlling phase. Several activities are behind schedule, and the critical path is at risk. What should Rachel do next? A. Reassign more resources to delayed tasks. B. Apply schedule compression techniques like crashing or fast tracking. C. Adjust the project scope to meet deadlines. D. Inform stakeholders and extend the schedule. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Schedule compression techniques like crashing, adding resources, or fast-tracking overlapping tasks are appropriate tools when delays occur. Simply extending the schedule should be a last resort. Question 6. Liam is managing a hybrid project. During execution, the procurement manager fails to follow the contract award procedure outlined in the plan, resulting in potential legal issues. What should Liam do first? A. Terminate the procurement manager's contract. B. Escalate the issue to legal and compliance. C. Review the procurement management plan and initiate corrective action. D. Pause all procurement activities. Correct answer. C. Explanation. The first step is to compare actual execution to the procurement management plan and address variances with corrective action. Escalation or termination comes later if necessary. Question 7. Maya, the project manager, observes that quality inspections on deliverables are yielding inconsistent results. The team claims they are following the approved quality checklists. What should Maya do next? A. Initiate a root cause analysis. B. Replace the team responsible for quality. C. Ask the team to revise their process documentation. D. Begin a quality audit. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Inconsistent results signal process or execution issues. Maya should first initiate root cause analysis to find out whether the issue lies with tools, training, or checklist adherence. Question 8. At the start of a project, Dylan, the project manager, facilitates a session to break down the project scope into deliverables, components, and tasks. What is this process called? A. Requirements analysis. B. Scope decomposition. C. Work breakdown structure creation. D. Product breakdown structure. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Creating a work breakdown structure, WBS, involves decomposing scope into smaller manageable components. This forms the foundation for planning time, cost, and resources. Question 9. While preparing the communications management plan, Fatima identifies that 2 key stakeholders prefer weekly dashboards while others need monthly summaries. What should she do? A. Create one format and require all stakeholders to adjust. B. Hold a stakeholder meeting to agree on one method. C. Customize communication methods based on stakeholder preferences. D. Ask the sponsor to decide on a standard format. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Communication must be tailored to stakeholder preferences and engagement levels. This increases trust, clarity, and involvement throughout the project lifecycle. Question 10. Ben is finalizing a project's execution and wants to ensure the lessons learned and knowledge are available for future teams. What is the best action Ben should take? A. Archive the project documents in the server. B. Complete the final report and distribute it. C. Conduct a lessons learned session and store results in the knowledge repository. D. Celebrate with the team and close the budget. Explanation. A lessons learned session is essential for capturing organizational knowledge. This ensures continuous improvement and supports future projects with insights and best practices. 11. Linda is managing a construction project and notices the team is falling behind schedule. She suspects the root cause is related to poorly defined work packages. What should she do next? One correct answer. A. Escalate the delay to the project sponsor. B. Initiate change control to add more team members. C. Review the work breakdown structure, WBS. D. Begin replanning the entire project. Correct answer, C. Explanation. A poorly defined WBS often leads to unclear responsibilities and scheduling delays. Reviewing and refining the WBS is a key first step. Question 12. Manuel is leading a project team and needs to determine which risks to prioritize. He doesn't have enough data for detailed numerical analysis. Which techniques should he use? 2 correct answers. A. Monte Carlo simulation. B. Risk probability and impact matrix. C. Expert judgment. D. EMV analysis. Correct answers, B, C. Explanation. When data is limited, qualitative risk assessment tools like probability impact matrices and expert input are appropriate. Question 13. Thomas is facilitating a kickoff meeting with both internal and external stakeholders. What is the main purpose of this meeting? 1 correct answer. A. To begin project execution. B. To present a completed project charter. C. To align all stakeholders and set expectations. D. To gather requirements. Correct answer, C. Explanation. The kickoff meeting ensures all stakeholders understand the project goals and their roles. Question 14. Priya's team has identified multiple technical risks that may impact delivery. They want to develop fallback plans and triggers. Which process are they engaging in? 1 correct answer. A. Perform qualitative risk analysis. B. Plan risk responses. C. Control risks. D. Monitor and control project work. Correct answer B. Explanation. Developing fallback plans and response strategies occurs in the plan risk responses process. Question 15. Kevin is working on a project using an agile methodology. He needs to improve predictability and delivery without reducing flexibility. Which 2 practices could help? 2 correct answers. A. Use of story points and velocity tracking. B. Setting fixed scope for the release. C. Daily stand-ups. D. Freezing backlog items mid-sprint. Correct answers, A, C. Explanation. Velocity tracking and stand-ups help with progress tracking and team alignment while retaining agility. Question 16. Fatima is updating her team's lessons learned repository after closing a project. Which process is she performing? 1 correct answer. A. Manage knowledge. B. Control quality. C. Monitor communications. D. Conduct procurement. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Capturing and sharing lessons learned is part of organizational knowledge management. Question 17. During sprint planning, Dan realizes some user stories lack clear acceptance criteria. What should he and the team do? 2 correct answers. A. Defer the stories to a later sprint. B. Add the stories to the definition of done. C. Clarify acceptance criteria with the product owner. D. Proceed and adjust later. Correct answers. A. C. Explanation. Incomplete stories should not enter the sprint backlog. Clarification with the product owner ensures readiness. Question 18. Yusuf is in the execution phase when a key stakeholder requests a change that could add value. What should Yusuf do first? One correct answer. A. Reject the change to avoid delay. B. Implement the change immediately. C. Evaluate the impact of the change. D. Inform the steering committee. Correct answer C. Explanation. Impact analysis must be done before implementing changes to understand implications. Question 19. Chloe's team is using Kanban and recently noticed a bottleneck in testing. What 2 actions should she consider? 2 correct answers. A. Increase the WIP limit. B. Reduce the WIP limit. C. Analyze flow metrics. D. Add testers without discussion. Correct answers. B. C. Explanation. Lowering WIP and analyzing flow helps identify root causes and restore smooth delivery. Question 20. Omar is asked to report on how well the team is adhering to the original schedule baseline. What metric should he use? 1 correct answer. A. Planned value. B. Cost performance index. C. Schedule variance. D. Estimate at completion. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Schedule variance, SV equals EV minus PV, measures schedule performance against the baseline. Let's continue. 21. The client's change request was approved verbally during a site meeting but not recorded in the change log. During testing, the stakeholder claims the change was approved. What should the project manager do first? A. Instruct the team to implement the change. B. Document the verbal approval retroactively. C. Ask the stakeholder to submit a formal change request. D. Consult the Change Control Board, CCB. Answer. C. Explanation. Verbal changes are not valid without proper documentation. A formal change request must be submitted before implementation. 22. A hybrid project is behind schedule because the Agile team is waiting on testing data from the waterfall component. What should the PM do to minimize further delays? Select 2 answers. A. Create an integrated backlog for Agile and waterfall deliverables. B. Establish rolling wave planning across both segments. C. Escalate to sponsor and demand additional resources. D. Convert the waterfall components to Agile. Answers A and B. Explanation. Aligning delivery cadence via integrated backlog and rolling wave planning are appropriate hybrid techniques. 23. A quality inspection reveals that deliverables meet internal tolerances but exceed customers' variance limits. The customer is unsatisfied. What should the project manager do first? A. Update the quality management plan. B. Review the customer's quality requirements. C. Escalate the issue to the sponsor. D. Accept the variance as it meets internal standards. Answer. B. Explanation. The customer's requirements take precedence in defining acceptance. Review and align expectations before taking further steps. 24. While preparing for project closure, the PM notices that a few low-priority deliverables were never verified. What should the PM do? A. Document it in lessons learned. B. Notify the sponsor for resolution. C. Perform final verification before closing. D. None of the above. Answer D. Explanation. The PM should validate scope completion through a formal scope validation process, not any of the options listed. 25. During iteration planning, two developers cannot agree on estimates for a story. The Scrum Master wants to resolve the deadlock. What should be done? Select two answers. A. Let the product owner select the final estimate. B. Facilitate discussion using planning poker. C. Use average of the two estimates. D. Pause the meeting and revisit later. Answers B and D. Explanation. Agile promotes team consensus. Planning poker facilitates estimation. If consensus fails, pausing can allow reflection. 26. A supplier is consistently late on deliverables. The contract has no performance penalties. What should the project manager do next? A. Terminate the contract immediately. B. Add penalties through a change order. C. Perform a performance review and initiate corrective action. D. Shift work to another supplier without notice. Answer C. Explanation. The PM must follow contract performance review processes before enforcing change or termination. 27. A senior stakeholder complains they were not informed of a critical milestone slip. What should the PM do to prevent this in the future? Select three answers. A. Reassess the stakeholder engagement plan. B. Create a detailed communication matrix. C. Schedule weekly sponsor updates. D. Increase team daily stand-ups. E. Map stakeholders by power and interest. Answers A, B, and E. Explanation. The issue stems from a stakeholder communication gap. Reassessing plans using matrices and power interest mapping address it. 28. A project team skips the risk reassessment step during execution and misses a significant supplier risk. What should the PM do to prevent recurrence? A. Escalate to the PMO. B. Reassign the risk owner. C. Update the risk management schedule. D. Mandate process audits in the next sprint. Answer C. Explanation. Risk management is a continuous process. The PM should update the plan to ensure regular reassessment. 29. What actions must a PM perform when a change request is received mid-execution? A. Analyze the impact on cost and schedule. B. Consult the configuration management plan. C. Engage relevant stakeholders. D. All of the above. Answer D. Explanation. A complete change evaluation includes impact analysis, configuration alignment, and stakeholder input. 30. During an iteration review, the client raises concerns about local regulations not being followed in one feature. The team claims it's an MVP and regulation will be added later. What is the best action? A. Defer the issue to legal. B. Cancel the release until it complies. C. Escalate to the product owner. D. Include regulatory checks in the definition of done. Answer D. Explanation. Regulatory requirements should be embedded in agile delivery via DoD. Compliance cannot be deferred in production. Thank you for watching. Tell me how it went in the comments section. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe, like, and share.